and support in Indian Wells. Look at this. I mean, this was in Australia. Court 6 literally had a line. I know I'm exaggerating, but it went for miles at the Aussie. It was wild scenes there. Ali, can you remember a women's star who gets this type of support wherever she goes?
Yeah, well, Taylor Swift. I mean,
yeah, there you go. Yeah, for sure. A tennis women's star. I was not. I was not specific.
Alex Eala just skipped the first round of Indian Wells entirely. No qualifying, no opening round battle. She walks straight into the second round as one of 32 seeded players at one of the biggest tournaments on the planet. The girl who was ranked 137 a year ago is now seeded at the 5th Grand Slam. Let that sink in completely. Do you think Alex Eala can reach the semi-finals of Indian Wells and repeat what she did in Miami last year, or is the field too strong this time around? Drop your prediction in the comments right now. Let's just take a moment to appreciate what a first-round bye at Indian Wells actually means, because some people are going to scroll past this news without fully understanding the significance of it. The bnpparibasopen at Indian Wells is not a regular tournament. It is called the 5th Grand Slam for a reason. The prize money is enormous. The field is stacked with every top player in the world. The draw includes all of the top 10 ranked players without exception. The courts are world-class. The atmosphere is electric, and the points available make it one of the most important events on the entire WTA calendar for anyone trying to build or protect a serious ranking. Getting a first-round bye at Indian Wells means you are one of the 32 seeded players in a 96-player main draw. It means the committee that sets the seedings looked at the field, looked at the rankings, and determined that you belong in a category separate from the players who have to fight through the opening round just to get their tournament started. It means you skip an entire match worth of energy expenditure, an entire match worth of injury risk, and an entire match worth of physical and emotional pressure at the start of a 2-week tournament. And Alex Eala, who was ranked world number 137 12 months ago, is seeded at Indian Wells 2026. The career-high ranking of world number 31 that she achieved after her Dubai quarterfinal run is what made this happen. After beating Jasmine Pini, ranked world number 7 in straight sets in the round of 32, and then pushing Coco Gauff, a 2-time Grand Slam champion, ranked world number 4 to a competitive straight sets match in the quarterfinals. The ranking points pushed her to a number that automatically generates a seeding at events of this size. The numbers are simple, and the story they tell is not. 1 year, 106 ranking positions climbed. From a player fighting through qualifiers and relying on wild cards to get into main draws to a seeded player at the 5th Grand Slam who does not even have to play in the first round. If you told anyone watching the Miami Open last year when Eala came through qualifying as an unknown and started beating Grand Slam champions that she would be seeded at Indian Wells the following year, they would have called it optimistic at best. And yet, here we are. Now, let's talk about the field she is walking into, because the bracket at Indian Wells 2026 is not going to take it easy on anyone regardless of their seeding or their momentum. Aryna Sabalenka is the world number 1, and she is coming into this tournament with something to prove. She has finished as runner-up at Indian Wells in both 2023 and 2025, and she has not yet converted her dominance in other tournaments into a title at this specific event. A 2-time runner-up who has not yet won is a dangerous player heading into any bracket. Sabalenka, at full motivation in the California desert with the weight of 2 near misses behind her, is about as formidable an opponent as exists in women's tennis right now. Iga is the world number 2, and she is a 2-time Indian Wells champion, having won in 2022 and 2024. She knows how to win at this tournament. She knows the courts. She knows the conditions. She knows what it takes to close out a title here. Suyate is also the player Eala beat most memorably in Miami last year, which adds a specific storyline to any potential rematch that the tennis world would be paying very close attention to. Mara Andreeva is the defending champion and the world number 8. She won this title last year, and she is coming back to defend it. Defending champions at major events carry a specific kind of pressure, but they also carry the specific advantage of knowing exactly what winning here requires. Andreeva won it before she turned 20. She is back with experience and a title to protect. Gauff is the world number 4, and she already proved in Dubai that she is more than capable of handling directly. Their quarterfinal in Dubai was not a blowout. Eala competed and pushed her, but Gauff won in straight sets, and she is the kind of player who tends to find ways to win against opponents she has already beaten when they meet again. This is the field is seated in. Not a friendly draw, not a tournament where she can expect an easy path. The fifth Grand Slam with every top 10 player in the world present and motivated, and she walks in with a bye, rested, prepared, and with the momentum of a season that has already produced more than most players achieve in 3 years. The sunshine double context matters here, too, because Indian Wells and the Miami Open that follows it are linked commercially and strategically in ways that affect how players approach both events. Players who do well at Indian Wells carry points and momentum directly into Miami 2 weeks later. Players who exit early at Indian Wells have more time to rest and prepare for Miami. The two tournaments together represent a concentrated period of maximum opportunity for any player ranked in the top 50. EA is entering Indian Wells as a seeded player and heading from there to Miami, where she made the semifinals last year as a wild card qualifier. The contrast between those two entry statuses at the same tournament 1 year apart is one of the most dramatic illustrations of how quickly her trajectory has changed. She went from fighting through qualifying to get into Miami to walking into Indian Wells with a first-round bye because her ranking demands it. The Filipino community in California is already moving. Reports have been circulating for weeks about organized group bookings from the Filipino diaspora in Los Angeles, San Diego, Daly City, and beyond. California has the largest Filipino-American population in the United States. And every single one of those communities has been tracking ELA's progress since Miami last year. They know what the seating means. They know what the draw looks like. And they are preparing to show up in numbers that Indian Wells has never seen for a player ranked outside the top 10, which is exactly what happened in Dubai when she beat Pellini in front of a stadium that felt like a Philippine home ground. Sam Querrey called her the biggest draw in women's tennis right now. He said her crowd effect was bigger than Joel Fonka's was on the men's side at Miami last year, which was itself the biggest crowd phenomenon in men's tennis at the time. Querrey knows what sells tickets and fills stadiums because he spent years on tour watching from the inside. When he says Ella is the biggest draw, he is not expressing enthusiasm. He is describing a market reality that the Indian Wells tournament organizers are already experiencing through their ticket sales data. The secondary market for sessions when IA is expected to play has already started moving above face value. That is the commercial expression of the Eala effect arriving in American soil for the first time at this scale. Not Filipino fans in the Philippines watching on television. Filipino fans in California who have built successful lives in America and who see Eala as the bridge between their heritage and their present, physically showing up and paying real money to be in the building when she plays. Kim Clears, a 4-time Grand Slam champion who was on the Love All podcast recently, compared Ella's daily life in the Philippines to Michael Jordan's. She said people assume the attention is just online and in the news, but that dealing with that level of cultural significance at 20 years old is genuinely challenging in practical daily life terms. Eala herself has mentioned that she tries not to go out alone in the Philippines anymore because of the recognition. She frames it as a blessing because that is the kind of person she is. But the reality is that she is navigating the life of a global superstar while simultaneously trying to compete at the highest level of professional tennis every week. The Dubai loss to golf after the Paolini win could have derailed her momentum. It did not. It accelerated it because the tennis world saw enough in both matches to confirm that the Miami results were not a fluke. Beating a top 10 player in straight sets at a WTA 1000 event, then being competitive in the quarterfinals against the world number 4 in the same week is not a lucky run. It is a player operating at a level that belongs in the seeded section of every major draw from this point forward. The Rafa Nadal Academy prepared her for exactly this. 7 years in Spain, training in an environment built on the philosophy of the most mentally strong champion the sport has ever produced. The academy does not just teach technique. It teaches how to compete under pressure, how to handle the weight of expectation, how to stay focused when everything around you is generating noise. Clyers specifically said she does not think it is a coincidence that EA is getting the results she is getting. The first round bye saves her energy for what matters. She comes into the second round rested while her opponent will have already played a full match in California desert conditions. The dry air, the altitude effect on ball flight, the specific surface conditions at Indian Wells, all favor a player who has had time to acclimatize properly. And Eala was in the United States early, having visited Nike World headquarters in Oregon before heading south to California, which gave her exactly that acclimatization window. The bracket is fierce. The rivals are legitimate. The defending champion is present. The world number 1 has unfinished business. The world number 2 has history at this specific event. And somewhere in the second round, seated and rested and backed by thousands of Filipino fans, Turning the California desert into something that looks remarkably like home, Alex Eala is waiting for whoever comes through that first round to face her. The rivals are not panicking because she got a bye. They are panicking because they watched Dubai. They watched Miami. They watched the rankings climb 106 positions in 12 months. And they are calculating what it means to walk onto a court in Indian Wells and face a player who has that crowd behind her, that academy behind her, and that trajectory behind her. The math is uncomfortable for anyone standing across the net from her. Alex Eala walks into Indian Wells as a seeded player with a first-round bye. A California crowd ready to turn the desert into Filipino territory, and a ranking that proves everything the last 12 months produced was completely real. The Sunshine Double starts now, and the stakes have never been higher. Hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an update.